Well, it feels like just yesterday that J-Bon and I were in the studio at SEN or at HRV or at RSN or wherever we were, Jace. And
RSN.
RSN. And here we are on the Tongue Tie Off vodcast. How are you, mate?
I'm very good, very excited. We don't, I mean, it has to be said, we don't 100% know what we're doing.
Yes.
As I mentioned, I walked into the kitchen and there was a microphone here and, whole thing set up. So we're ready to go. We've discussed this for a little while.
We have.
Whatever it might be, it's a project, it's an adventure. But what it is, definitely, is proof positive that even though we've been out of the game for a little while, both of us, out of the game in the professional sense, that you can't get it out of your blood. So
you can't, exactly.
Very, very keen to get underway. But we're going to look at the Saturday night meeting at Melton. But maybe it's worth just a quick squizzle at a couple of our bigger, broader ideas of what this might be. Because you know what? We're starting it right now, obviously, but we've got some big ideas.
Yeah, we do. And it's in the blood, Jace, as we've talked about. I haven't been back to the track, it must be said, since I stepped out of my former role. But
I've been warned off, so...
See, I wasn't warned off officially. See, I know you're joking, but only part of me knows you're joking. But I want to get back there. And I tell you what, if it was just down the road, I would get back there. And this is not a knock on Melton or the decision makers of the past, because we know.
It sounds like it is, Coates.
No, but it's not. It's not. But if Melton wasn't that far away from where I am right now, I'd be there most weekends. The truth is, it's a lot harder to get out there and sneak back home here to Parkdale. Where are you at the moment, Jace? What's just for the viewers' sake? Where are you positioned?
Look, for a long time, Codes, in my media life for 13 years, I did tend to give out my various addresses. So I'm going to pull up on that.
Don't need your address, mate.
I'm in the north.
Which country are you in?
I'm in Zimbabwe.
There you go. I thought
as soon as Mugabe was taken out, I decided it's time for me to go back and view where the rumble in the jungle was. It was Zimbabwe, wasn't it? The forms. Anyway,
I could Google
Kinshasa. Anyway, I'm in the north of Melbourne, and you were previously a dedicated Melbourne hipster.
I was. Remember
around the Northcote Thornbury area. You're in Parkdale.
Yeah, so
I don't even know where Parkdale is. It's one of those suburbs I've never heard of.
Well, and we're glad, like not you personally. We like the fact that not many know where it is. It's a little. It's right between Mentone at one end and Mordialloc up the other. So it's a little beach suburb right in between those two suburbs. And because no one's ever heard of it, they always move to Mentone or Mordy, and we can just live our peaceful little life here, Jace.
Geez, I got an okay payout from HRV, but yours must have been more significant. Beach. I don't know exactly where that is, but it sounds like you with the glitterati, and this worries me because I don't want to get into politics, but you're a dedicated lefty, and it feels like It feels like you've moved down with the bourgeois people. Is that
a dedicated lefty? We are giving away way too much, Jason, in the first 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay,
surely.
Let's get back on track now.
All right.
Talking about getting back to the track, getting back on track and getting back to the track. One of the things we want to do this live, do it live.
We do.
As Bill O'Reilly said. So we will head down to Melton or Hamilton, your hometown, or Geelong, mine. Yeah. Whoever will have us.
Sunny Charlton.
Definitely Charlton.
Yes,
chatting with Joey Thompson recently. But we will be getting to the track. We're going to start off with a form preview.
Let's see if we can do one recorded before we start talking about putting the live shows back together, Jace.
Nah, forget that. We'll get it right. Neither of us can do this, but we have technical support. That's on our side.
I should say, for the viewers' sake, Jace, so the podcast is called Tongue Tie Off.
Yes.
Cheeky little name. Loved it. Your suggestion. Brilliant. There are that many harness racing puns that are gone, right? You think about every harness racing pun and it's been a show. It's still a show. There's not much left, but Tongue Tie Off it worked.
Well, the one thing, we'll get stuck in a moment, but one thing I remember from our days at Harness Racing Victoria with Paul Oxenford and Michael Howard and many others, is how often you would talk in trots code, yeah?
Yes.
So you would say this one, somebody needs the spreaders, or I think you might need a head check, or
Ox would be leaning back in his office chair and he'd be kicking the plug.
If you walked out in public, we used to do when we were out at night.
I never did that. I was not a nightclub guy, but I know others were. I've seen that dance.
Pubs. But we would go out in public, obviously, and you'd have lunch somewhere, and surely people thought we were insane and didn't know what we were talking about. But it's a coded language, and that's one of the things I love about the trots. We are going to do the live shows, but along with the form, and we're going to get stuck in a moment, Saturday night's card, and I found some value, I think, and we're going to have hopefully some agreements and a couple of disagreements, but we are going to dedicate this podcast, this adventure, this project that we've started to also addressing a few things from the outside, and that's where tongue tie off might come from.
Hello.
Not that the tongue tie was ever really on me, was it? That might be why I've ended up in this home studio. But we're going to be unshackled. And, it feels like in the world today, if you want to change things, you've got to do it from the outside. And that's what we're going to try. Well, we're going to have the discussions, really open discussions, interactive. We want people to tell us what they want to hear. We're going to have the guests on. One of my early ideas I've already spoken to you about is having a podcast with 3 or 4 trot-hating punters that I always find at local venues, not nightclubs.
In the haunts, yep.
Just
in the dark
bar,
corners. Yep.
Dive bar, tab retail venues. And when a trotting race comes on and they start to talk trash, then I have to be the unpaid ambassador for harness racing. And I always am. Like, I tell them they're talking excrement, but I want to get them on so that you and I can talk them through a meeting and educate people, because I hate to hear what is said on the outside. And it's because I'm not going to get too controversial too soon. I feel like the inside doesn't quite know what's happening on the outside sometimes, but we do.
Yeah, and I think that for me, this whole project, whatever you want to call it, the podcast, the website that we're going to have launched as well, which is pacesetters.au.
Oh, we've got a website.
We're going to have a website as well, Chase, pacesetters.au, where Tongue Tied Podcast will be housed. It's all about engagement, and it's exactly what you just said. It's about giving opinions. It's about listening to opinions. It's about letting the participants talk. We'll likely have people on from HQ, Jace, who are willing to come on and have a chat to us. Most likely we'll have trainers, drivers, owners, administrators. Everyone's welcome. You know what I mean? Everyone's welcome. The idea here is to boost engagement. It's what we tried to do back in the day. It's what we love doing in our former roles. And it's about just seeing if we can, make that magic happen again, Jace.
Well, the beauty is I messaged you the other day. The credo here is no rules. No rules. We're gonna make some of it up on the run. And the beauty is, if we do get people in from HQ or country club leaders or hunters, whoever it might participants, be. Trainers, drivers, owners, breeders, we're going to have Frank Burns, MASH.
Great show. Great show.
We're going to have very frank discussions. Yeah. And you know what? All ideas and all opinions are welcome, but not that I ever did very much, of course, but we're not going to moderate our views. And you and I are going to debate subjects and
of course
sometimes not have exactly the same opinion.
Yep.
But the key here is there are 1,000 things that we can talk about in harness racing, but the keys are make it fun and enjoyable and entertaining again.
Remember, Jace, it was always, people should remember, at its heart, racing is fun. It's supposed to be fun.
And it's not as fun as it should be at the moment.
No, but it's supposed to be fun. And this is us doing our part to try and fire things up and see what happens. And I think if we can get people talking, that's good for the game. Anyone who can get people talking, Jace.
Yeah.
About a sport like harness racing, that's good for the industry. It's good for the game.
And we're going to have plenty of lols as well. You want to get stuck in? We've got 9 races to get through.
We do.
Now, the way we're going to run this, back in the day.
Yes.
As I see your
I'm on this
her
little
shoot
iPad
forearm there.
Yep.
Is it as her shoot as it appears, or is it?
What are you talking about there?
Did I?
No, because it's the angle of the camera.
Okay.
I can grow more hair on the arm than the facial hair. What have you got going there, Jace?
He's got unusually long arm hairs. What have I got?
You've got an impressive bit of facial hair going on there, mate.
Oh, I always have. I had it neatened up.
Nice.
I think I'll look $1 million. It's a little bit stark here. I'm going to get some artwork. It's a bit stark. I mean, you've got the library back there. I've got some guitars over there, but I'm not sure you can see them.
I've got one guitar, the acoustic. Maybe that could happen one night, Jace. We could pull out the guitars and do a little live.
I've still got to record the theme song as well.
You do, by the way, because this show, as you will well and truly know by now, viewers, there was no theme song, but it's coming.
Now, what I was going to say is back in the day, game plans and all the rest of it, and when I did form for a decade or so for Harness Racing Victoria, you had to do it a certain way, and I was very protective of the punter, and rather than going, outside the realms, like the great former colleague of mine, Blake Redden, the ultimate contrarian, love to find a roughie. I was always, pricing it up and trying to give the most likely scenarios, but we can go through 4 of these races for 10 minutes each, and 3 of them we'd say,
yep, don't play.
No.
We are allowed to say don't play. You're allowed to still watch if you want to watch. By all means, watch. But geez, you don't have to part with any coin on particular races if you don't want to.
We're allowed to do whatever we want. That's what I said. No rules.
Right, you're going to keep saying that, aren't you? You know what? Race 1, Jace, is not the DNR Logistics Pace anymore. What's going on? I had to check to see if we're in the right meeting.
That's the end of the podcast.
That's
check.
That was one of the names we tossed around, DNR Logistics Pace, I think. But no, it's the Allied Express Trot.
I don't recall that. What are your
1720 metres.
1720 metres. I've got, this is a race, the first. I don't know if I'll be playing really heavily. I'm waiting for the true, correct, bettable markets. In fact, race 1's up, you said.
I can tell you if you want to get the party started, right? But I won't tell you first. You tell me first. I'll tell you what the odds are.
Was that a little clue to what's up?
No. Oh,
party time?
Must have been subconscious. I didn't mean that.
So just tell me, is the pole marker 420?
Yeah. Well, come on. Yeah, it is. Surely you knew that. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
I've got I'm very instinctive. I've got
I got stuck on the map in the first, Jason, and I'm so interested to hear what you are about to say, because I think I did throw you out a little clue on the text last night saying, What's Up Party Time's had 2 goes from the pole. It has not stepped away once from the pole, but it was not trained by Andy Gath either for those 2.
No, here's the key. So I've got all my key stats here.
Right.
Since being trained by Andrew Patrick Gath. Hi, Andy. How are you? Love you. Haven't spoken to you in a bit. We'll catch up soon. 3 times led, 3 times won.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the key. I'm here to help you out. Okay. That's what I am. I'm a helper. What's Up Party Time does not have to lead initially here, because Ebony's Avenger gets out pretty well. Small chance of crossing it, right? Hot to Trot, no. Hammer's Law, no. Loxley Lover, no. But I reckon She's a Wish is a good chance of pinging everything at the start.
So do I.
Really.
So do I.
But then, would She's a Wish want to hold the front or hand straight back up to What's Up Party Time?
Well, yeah, you. I'm not Nathan Jack, and as I'm trying to work out the map,
hang on. First,
that's
breaking news on the Ton Playoff podcast. Cody Winnell, contrary to popular opinion, is not Nathan Jack.
I've won a few catch driver races on the app, but I've never quite got out there and be able to.
It's like Twin Peaks. What a twist!
But when I'm looking at She's a Wish last night, this is what was giving me headaches. I'm thinking, if he's one of the best gate drivers, if not the best in the land, right?
Agreed.
Barrier 7, they can fly from Barrier 7. She's a Wish pings out and has led from the outside of the track. And What's Up I agree with you. What's Up Party Time doesn't have to lead initially, so I don't think it's going to be, necessarily handlebars down and only one. So for Kate on the pole marker. So I've got She's a Wish initially in front. So, but then he might drift back.
Here's the key. I don't know whether Trot's Vision is on. I don't have the people here, but if you can get an interview anywhere with Nathan Jack, maybe he can give an indication. But the one thing about a driver like Nath is he's so good with his form.
Yeah,
he will assess it, and that's why I believe he probably will have a crack, because you'll think, What's Up Party Time can be a little bit scratchy, even though it's one of those. This is why the pole marking draw has been a problem, because he actually begins well, but he's get settled into stride, then progress. And I reckon Nath will just look and go, I'll just ping across. I can hand up to What's Up Party Time. Then I'm behind the leader. I think What's Up Party Time would be happy with that. I mean, I don't know. Probably horses don't think about where they want to be in the run. I reckon Kate would be happy with that.
Yep.
And then you don't have She's Ruby Roo on your back anymore. I mean, maybe you don't want She's a Wish on your back either, but She's Ruby Roo, I reckon, is the favourite. Again, purely through instinct. So I'm thinking, What's Up Party Time leads, She's a Wish behind the leader. I'm actually happy. $4.20 is good enough for me with What's Up Party Time, and I'd also be happy to go each way, 1 by 2 on She's a Wish. They'd be the two I'd be backing in the race based on the map that I think we're concurring with, Copes.
We are, 100%. Yeah. We are. Yep. And I think it's crazy overs She's a Wish. Having said that, it opened $14 and got out to $17 and then got out to $18. So no early inkling to suggest that it's overs. But I think it's overs.
No, but I'll tell you this. If the whisper, the word, the rumour, the feeling, the vibe gets out, I'd be backing She's a Wish now, because we see all too often, more than ever, these incredible market moves late, don't we?
Yep.
And if that is the vibe, Marbo, then She's a Wish will not be that bright. Will be single figures.
She's a Wish should be single figures, but
it will be if that's what people think will happen.
But I don't think She's a Wish will run past What's Up Party Time. I think you're on the money with the place bet. I can't see it beating What's Up Party Time under your scenario, where What's Up Party Time is where She's a Wish is behind What's Up Party Time. Don't think she can run past
it. Are we going to do anything traditional here in terms of giving top 4 tips?
We're not, because as much as we've had all this discussion, I'm not tipping either of the horses that have been mentioned, Jace. In fact, mine hasn't been mentioned, I don't think, at all.
Oh,
in our discussions.
You're a dark horse. You've been concurring with me the whole time.
I have, because I agree with your map. 100% I agree with your map, and I reckon She's a Wish is overs. Yeah, but I'm tipping.
Can I have a guess at yours?
Yep.
Lady Adelia?
No, but I do think Lady Adelia opened up at a silly price at $15 into $8.50.
Loxley Lover, Love Gun.
No, it's not Loxley Lover, but it is Love Gun. I think She's Ruby Roo. It's funny because I thought if I was Greg Sugars now, I've said I'm not Nathan Jack. Well, if I was Greg Sugars, I would have.
And you haven't said you're not, so you might be Greg.
No, I would have chosen probably to drive She's Ruby Roo. But the Herb's on Ruby Roo and Greg's on Love Gun. And that's good enough for me to think that, Greg's a genius. He's on Love Gun.
You don't know who you are. You're saying no. So one thing we should point out now, with some stables like Snoozer and others.
Yep.
Greg and Jess Tubbs is the trainer 100%, but Greg, as far as I know, cohabitates with her.
But he plays a role, doesn't he? Yeah.
He plays a role. And he almost always, doesn't he, elect to drive the best chance.
Well, that's why I was shocked after I did my initial thoughts. And in the end, as much as I put time into this race, I almost threw it all out the window and said, you know what? I'm going with Love Gun to overpower them at the finish. Does come off that last start win. When was pretty impressive late, beating Ebony's Avenger, who does, the horse does meet here. Beat She's a Wish on that occasion as well. You're not getting any sort of flash odds about Love Gun, and I imagine, won't get too much longer than $4.60. But yeah, I've got Love Gun on top, and I'm happy to have a win bet on Love Gun and at a place bet on She's a Wish. Even though I said before there's a chance that once What's Up Party Time gets to the front, I don't think She's a Wish runs past it. But yeah, I think Love Gun can overpower them.
I'm with What's Up Party Time to win and with you with She's a Wish to place. I just got a text. We put up a little teaser, didn't we, on Twitter?
We did, and we did. Normally, I thought if the texts come through, they've heard us talking about the map. That cannot have happened, obviously.
We aren't live, are we?
No, that's not that I'm aware of. I'm looking at the screen. Don't think so. What's the text?
From Mitch Abaya, who's a Greyhound celebrity. G's home podcast setup. I've seen you on Twitter. Where'd you get that? And this is a jacket I actually wore when a groomsman for Mitch Abaya's wedding.
Mighty Mitch Abaya. I tell you what, I don't follow the dogs that much, but when I do, I look for his tips. There's a little shout out to Mitch. He's a genius.
The Peacock. Let's get stuck in a race. I'm not sure. Well, actually, initially I wasn't over keen on race 2.
Hang on, sorry to go back. You're having 2 bets. She's a Wish place. What's Up Party Time win, yeah?
Yes, but we'll get the game plans and all the rest of it ready.
Sounds good.
I've got a little bit of time to, ratify all that.
Right.
I think I'll be having both of them in the game plan. But What's Up Party Time to win, I think a little bit more than She's a Wish to place, just because I don't know 100% what's going to happen out wide with Nathan Jack, who is not, let me confirm, Cody Winnell. Second event, I looked at it. I wasn't overly keen. We don't have prices here, but I have found, I think I found one. I think Bon has found one in second.
Well, that's incredible if you found one in this race.
Well, I've been called better. I've been called much, much, much worse.
I'm saying that is this just fantasies are moral in this?
I thought you were going into Bohemian Rhapsody. You're moral.
Yeah, it is. She is. Well, last week I flagged that this is a very nice mare and the record's clear, but I didn't expect her to just ping to the front and just dominate like that. It was she's exceptionally fast, and she's got more strings to her bow, I reckon, than I initially thought she might have. I thought she was a horse that could just get back and absolutely thrash home against, ridiculous sectionals and still get it done, but have a lethal sprint. I think she's better than that. I think she's pretty tough as well.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Riddle me this. Penny for your thoughts. No, I was going to say Nate, not Nathan. Cody Winnell. Would Is This Just Fantasy have led last week, if not for a little bit of confusion at the start and Quaddy VC going roughly from the pole? I don't think it was their intention, and it was a great piece of driving. Just in that split second moment you sometimes get, where they went, okay, opportunity's there, now we're going to lead. Because Seve Ballesteros, the late great Spanish golfer, he had just known as Seve, a standardbred, surely would want to hold the front. And I reckon can. Or at least create enough speed early to make it tricky.
Well, then who's following Seve? Operative Line's not going to be able to keep up if they burn. Is This Just Fantasy jumps in potentially and then overhauls Seve up the lane, because Is This Just Fantasy's a potential top line mare.
Anyway, that's been the Tongue Tie Off podcast. Operative Line is mine.
Hey?
Operative Line is mine.
Really?
Listen, young.
Can't have it. Yeah, I can't have it. But
2 starts back. You got the former?
Yeah.
Where was Operative Line in the run?
Was behind the leader.
Where did it finish?
Ran second.
To who?
Captain Hammerhead.
In what mile rate? What mile rate over the middle?
Who I know you rate very highly. 155 and 3.
I don't know much about mile rates, but 155.3 over a middle trip at Melton. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
If it's behind the leader here, is Seve
ran 5th in a Horsham Cup as well. Operative Line. It's a much improved horse inside you of Operative Line. I must admit.
And the last start performance, despite the 7 next to his moniker, was pretty good if you go back and watch the replay.
Yep.
I'm
No, why are you're pouring water on my moral? That hurts.
No, look, you might be right. Because, look, there is a potentiality, even if Seve, begins as well as is this just fantasy? Is this
just fantasy? Yep. What was that song?
Is this the real thing? It's Bohemian Rhapsody, surely.
Is it? It's just fantasy. Yeah.
Caught in the landslide, no escape from reality.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking it was a female singer from the 80s, a well-known female, but I've completely got that wrong. Yeah. Just like I might have the moral wrong. Brilliant.
There might be respect here now, because in the market in a weaker race, there wasn't respect. And you did is this just fantasy? And so did Steve Cleave.
Geez, I know what you mentioned before about the map, but geez, they piled into this horse late last week, just before the jump. I know Glenn Graydon was having a big night, but it was backed off the map.
Don't you remember, going back months ago, they had a big opinion of this horse?
They do. Yeah, my oath.
So I'm with you. I'm not against you. I'm not trying to pour water. There's a chance that it might just be too good for them. But if the poll marker wants to lead, the thing about is this just fantasy, leading, it's never been beaten. It is more vulnerable when not leading. So if I was Kate Gath, and I just want to confirm, as you did earlier, that I'm not Kate Gath.
Yes, you're not Kate.
I wouldn't be just handing up meekly unless there's so much respect. So operative line, and I even thought with my map, with Ballesteros leading, Stir Me Up is a horse who doesn't like to get to the front too soon. I don't think it can win, but if it turns out to be 3 poles, it can run a place as well, I reckon.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what this podcast is great for, Jace. We've seen this race quite differently, but based on what I mean, if the map works out and if it leads, Cleave, if it leads, then after re-looking at operative line now, maybe a bit closer than I did last night in my late night haze. Yeah, I can see that. I wonder if the market will totally disrespect operative line initially, or they open that late now that it won't matter because all the information and the discussion will be out there by then.
I reckon the critical key here with the market, we'll get on to race 3 in a moment. I reckon the critical key with the market here is if there is a massive move for your one.
Well, it depends what mine opens, I suppose, because it could open really, really short and then drift somewhat just to correct.
According to the prices that I've seen on the website, it won't open too short. But I think if whatever it opens, if they smash it, then it's
there's no way it opens anywhere near 550. It just can't.
I agree. Let's not get on this one. Too far. Whatever it opens, if it shortens very quickly and solidly, then it's the one. If not, you know what? Operative line might get out to, I don't know what place price it will be. So even if you think it's 3 poles, you can just back it a place at that point.
I mean, if Is This Just Fantasy did run straight to the top, then what sort of money race is this for you?
A very good one, but
I
don't have faith in that.
No. You've probably been on the text to Andy, and you're probably well aware that that horse will be leading.
I certainly have not. Like I say, shout out to Andy. Haven't spoken to him in a while. We'll catch up. Who else? Very quickly, do we need to talk about?
No one for mine.
Spyglass.
No, it's only one. It's got a great Spyglass has got a great record, but only seems to win when gets the nice cushy runs, and I don't think it's going to get that here.
No.
Hot Deal I rate very highly, but it's drawn awfully, and I think Dollar Geary goes all right too, but not from the draw.
It'll whip around Hot Deal and get to the breeze relatively comfortably, I reckon, because I have had word potentially that Mirakuru, who typically likes to go forward, might be going back on this occasion.
Yeah. So, geez, we had some fun with Mirakuru last start. I think it was 40-1 or something. That was a terrific night. Shout out to Steve Cleave for just hanging on last time out. 33%, Jace. Can I just throw this one at you real quick? Aaron Dunn. Yep. Aaron Dunn, 33% strike rate as a driver this season, all tracks. He's always been a Mr. Strike Rate.
Really?
what sort of strike rate is that? 33%. Is that right? Let me click on it again just to make sure I've got that right.
A third.
These are stats courtesy of harness.org.au. No, that's Melton current season, 33%. Oh, no, here it is, yeah. So win rate for this season, all tracks, is 33%, and his place is 28%. He's unplaced on 39% of the occasions. Not many drivers could boast
What an amazing man, a polymath, a Renaissance man, doesn't
Happy birthday for the other day to Aaron Dunn. If he's watching. No idea.
Wonder if he remembers me beating him in an arm wrestle at Broncos. He said he used to compete almost professionally. Knocked him over.
Remember that? The great arm wrestle. We won't talk about it on this episode, but one for the future, the Great Arm Wrestling Championships of New Zealand of about 2019, was it?
Jeez, I dropped everyone pretty quick. Former HRV employee Stephen Bell, who goes to the gym, relatively decent physique. No power in his body whatsoever. Or Paul Oxford, who looks like a Adonis. He just didn't even bother to put up a fight because I think he knew what would happen, so he didn't want to. He just said, "No, I'm laying down." We're going to race 3, but I'll tell you what, Nikita Ross put up a better fight. Belly and Ox combined. So we've got our thoughts there. You've half pilloried my thoughts in race 2. The third, quick stats. I've already outlined it a little bit, but is this just fantasy? Unbeaten from the lead.
Yep.
And just quickly, Seve, 3 times in front, 2 wins and a placing. So that's why it might.
That does scare me a bit.
Fight for its right to party in front.
You've scared me now.
Third, this is my moral. I don't know what price we'll get. Hammerhead's got to win this, doesn't it? You okay? It's passed out?
No, I'm still with you. No, he's a very talented horse. I don't think he just wins, but yeah, he's in the mix.
Well, here we go. So, front line, skinny dip, crosses and lengths.
Yep.
May want to hand up to something. Is there anything that it would want to hand up to other than Captain Hammerhead?
You Bet Your Tiger Pie made a pretty aggressive mid-race move last start and dashed to the front at the bell. I reckon You Betcha's a horse that I've also underrated a bit. I stuck my hand up almost on Twitter with You Bet Your Tiger Pie last time out. Ever since last December, with Michael Stanley looking after this horse, and it won 3 in a row in December, it's a much, much better horse than its younger days, You Bet Your Tiger Pie.
Nice horse, but if this was a video game, not that I've played many of those, that's why I call them video games. It's like something from the 80s, which I did experience in my life, born in 79. What would the power rating be in terms of class for You Bet Your Tiger Pie versus Captain Hammerhead Shark?
Yeah, absolutely. Captain Hammerhead's got a high ceiling.
In a private chat, were you talking this also?
I was spooky. Yeah, no, I threw it out a while ago ahead of the really nice 4-year-old races. I thought it could go up to Sydney and basically dominate. I don't think it did, but I think he's got huge upside, and I think they've been quite patient with it as well.
I think it'll just be winning. It's a moral for mine.
What odds do you reckon it'll be, Jace?
I think it'll be in red.
You'll be odds on, yep.
I know on the website it's $3.50. If I can get $3.50 about it. Whatever I got from Harness Racing Victoria and from selling a house soon afterwards, I'll be pulling that together and maybe getting an angel investment loan. I think it's just last run was just a run. It just went around. Just went around in a much better race. I think D. Moran, Sal, will be just sitting there whipping around, taking the top, and that'll be the end of the penny section. One horse I know you've got a good opinion of, who was in the same race, was Captain Hammerhead last start. His Final Collect.
Yes.
Have you given it a hope?
No, I don't think so. I like Final Collect as a horse. I don't think it can beat Captain Hammerhead. Don't think it can win this race either. I didn't have a huge opinion of the race, Jace. I think
I've got the feeling your enthusiasm was low here.
It is low. I'm interested to see what odds Terry opens up, to be honest, for Kate and Andy Gath, because I think it could be any old odds, and it just wouldn't surprise me if Terry was able to sneak home at the finish and do what it's done back to this grade. Now, when I say grade, that's based on ratings, because Captain Ahmed is on the way up, and that's of course where the NR ratings and any ratings will, you've got to factor in that you've got horses on the up, you've got other horses coming back down. But Terry, at his best, this is his sort of class. Depending on how Captain Ahmed turns up, and I get 30 to 1 about Terry, I'm doing a Blake Redknapp. I'd happily have a couple of bucks each way on Terry and see what happens.
Strange name for a horse. Every time you say the word Terry, I think you're talking about your uncle or something. So Terry came over the other night, and Terry had a bit to drink. He does that sometimes. We had to send Terry home. Terry, I'll leave you with Terry, but I'm with Captain Hammerhead as a moral and the only way I want to play the race, but I need to see a price. If we get 350, then I will be off and gone.
Race 4 is a much more fun race, in my opinion, Jace. That's where I can get back to. I can get back to having a firm opinion on race 4. It's the APG Vic Gold Bullion 3-year-old fillies, the time-honoured Gold Bullion, Jace.
I love a Gold Bullion. I've been down to Sovereign Hill a couple of times and prospected for the Nuggets. Yes, the time-honoured Gold Bullion.
Looking for gold, yep.
Now, you told me this is a money race.
Yep.
I get this mic a little bit higher. So I'm thinking you're going to go.
Righto, let's.
Have you got staggered trifectas here?
You know what? I don't. I've got one trifecta with one horse that I think can give me an edge, a point of difference.
Paul, peg.
Actually, I've got a very tiny saver trifecta, so I guess you could call it staggered.
Now you tell me. So
Libby Lou leads.
1 to beat 8 to beat 9 for a start.
I mean, that feels certainly 1 to beat 8, 9, 3 pegs. Where's the 5 at? Up in the breeze, Eureka Joe?
Yep.
And
I think so. I mean,
where's Vague Beauty at, Jace?
In life, flying. In the run, well back, trying to flush something out for 3-wide cover, you would imagine.
Okay.
So let's get back to it. My model. Main one, 1 to beat 8 to beat 9?
No.
Oh.
No. I don't know why I tossed 5 in for second. I don't like that. I am adjusting it on the run somewhat here. I think 1 wins. I think it leads and wins. Yeah. I think for second, I want to play 8, 9, 11. And for third, I want to play 5, 8, 9, 11. And the horse that I'm hoping can be forgotten about and off the pegs that everyone just forget is Vague Beauty, whose last run was just absolutely brilliant and screamed, that's the horse I want to be on for the final. Then it drew awfully. But it was a good enough run that if Greg can get it round at the right time, she's in the mix, Vague Beauty.
Now, it is a woman's prerogative to change her mind, and also a Cody Winnell prerogative. I am confused now. Have we still got 2 options, or?
Yeah, the other option is simply Vague Beauty to win and then throw the other numbers in for second and third, just in case everyone is disrespecting Vague Beauty and you get a massive price.
Well, do you want me to give you a little bit of Bond Dog punting advice from this perspective?
Always happy to have, a bit of punting advice from the
take it or leave
Bond Bang. Yeah,
you can take it or leave it. But I'll tell you what.
What's that? Have
the trifecta. Don't worry about having another trifecta with Vague Beauty to win and the others to run second and third. Just back. I think you're getting $13 or something similar.
Yeah, you are. You're getting a nice price.
Just back it. Because you know what the worst thing?
What's that? It wins and you stuff up third place.
Vague Beauty wins.
Yep.
Because here's the key as well. If Vague Beauty is to win, then the speed will have been somewhat frenetic, yes?
Yep.
And that might change the scenario for who runs the placings.
So in that world, you're probably thinking Eureka Joe's potentially been drilling the pole marker a little bit
Yeah. And I mean,
shortened up today, Eureka Joe. Shortened in the market, which is interesting. $4.60 to $4.
The problem there as well is if you're right here and the pole market dominates, right, then your trifecta is probably going to work. But if Vague Beauty wins, Crafty Candy's got ability. Soho Vesperlind went very well in its heat. I Can Try. They've all got ability, haven't they? So my thoughts in this race, I don't think it'll be playing. So this will be the one that I'll be staying out of probably. But I'm thinking half along your lines, I'm going to have a spec bet each way on Vague Beauty only. And
so you're with me on Vague Beauty. Nice.
Well, and here's my thinking. The pole market might just lead and dominate.
Yeah.
But an army against one.
I was about to say, yep.
Eureka Joe is shortening in the market. But I can just see a scenario where Eureka Joe, Archimedes in the bath, Eureka, goes forward and keeps the speed on because that helps perpetuity.
I was about to say 2 horses have shortened today. The other one is perpetuity.
It helps perpetuity and it helps Beauty.
Yep.
Remember in a semi-final of, was it the Vic Bred or one of the big series, Vague Beauty started favourite over Draw a Dream. Right? So they have an opinion of this horse.
Well, you only need, you watch that last run in isolation. That's the one you want to be on, isn't it?
Well, you'll know your fate. Here's the key. If you have an each way bet, or you back him just to win, Vague Beauty, you will know your fate within 400 metres.
Yeah. I'm losing faith in the trifecta. The more you think about what could happen, right, when you really think about it.
Well,
in this race, there's good money. There's good money up for grabs here.
This was my thinking was just that this might be a bit quicker than. What are we looking at here? $150,000.
Yeah,
they run these races a little bit differently than your average week to week metro race, don't they?
Yep.
So.
And of course, Blake Fitzpatrick will be well aware of that. Geez, it was an arrogant win last time out. That must be said from the front.
But it was
he can't just hand up though, can he? Meekly either, because then all of a sudden it's Eureka Joe's to lose.
They won't hand up, but I just think if you go back and watch that heat win, nothing was going on. It looked impressive, but it was just a dash home, wasn't it? An angle. All right, race 5.
It'll be fun. Let's find out. But I'm with you. Vague Beauty each way. It's a good bet because it is the horse that at the price is being underrated.
Have we got a place price?
Yep. Hang on, let me call it up. We've got, what have we got? $13.270. It was $15 earlier today.
Well, you don't 1 by 5 because I can see a scenario, even if it doesn't work out early.
Yep.
The Vague Beauty went so well last start that she can still run third. So, 5th event, first leg of the 20.
Yes. Now
we're half concurring without actually getting a run on here yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, Jace. I'm working back into form a bit with the form. You know, we were doing it every week there for the Friday form panel for a while. Every week, just bang, and you were doing it every week for 74 years. So, you know, it's you have that little break. You just take a little bit of time to get to touch.
I reckon I peaked when I was about 92.
Yes. That was a good year, 90, when you were 92.
My non-Generian years were...
Crash Test Dummies had just released God Shuffled His Feet when you were 92. That was back in 94.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 92?
This is an interesting race.
So here's my question for you, Cody Bunnell.
Yep.
This is another time of the race, the APG Australian Pacer Gold. Gold bullion for the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings. The classic age males, as I used to write religiously. Ravishing Sloy will ping to the front.
Yep.
Will it hold the lead or will it hand up to the favourite Soho Spectre?
Geez, the money's come for Ravishing
Sloy.
It was. Very deep voice. Brad something. What's his name? Brad, the lead singer.
I would have been
Brad from the Dummies.
Staggered if you could name the lead. He was great.
Brad Roberts.
That's phenomenal. Nate, you're stalling. Can I answer?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. $7.50 into $4. They've smashed Ravishing Sloy. Soho Spectre's $1.50 out to $1.70. Pole Marker a lot like Louis. Gee, this horse is a different horse as a 3-year-old, isn't it?
It's
grown a leg.
Pole Mark and Draw is the concern.
But we haven't seen it draw. My memory for it hasn't had the draw, has it? In recent times,
it just doesn't have the like. Well, the key will be for the Pole
Do we
Marker.
know that?
Well, I know one thing relatively for certain: Ravishing Sloy will ping it.
Yep.
Now the key is, as I go back to my original question, this feels like question time in Parliament. Oh, Mr. Speaker, who was it? What's the word? Anyway, the representative for Parkdale.
The member
for Parkdale will not answer my question. If Ravishing Sloy leads and holds the lead, the Pole Marker comes into it. I don't believe that will happen.
So you think Greg will lead and then Ricky Elcham will take the lead?
I think so.
Yeah.
1,720. There's obviously a temptation, a seduction, a desire in your mind. Greg Sugars will make the right decision. We know that the Candyman normally does. But he may think, I'll tell you what, one thing about Soho Spectre is it is a dead set leader.
Yeah.
What's the record? 8 times in front, 7 wins. 8 times not in front, 2 wins. So do you have a crack at that? Or do you think, I'll tell you what, I've beaten this horse from behind the leader in the past, which Ravishing Sloy has done. And you just say, I'm going to use my speed.
It's also a $150,000 race, and D Rowe has good gate speed.
That only seems fair. They're going to give 150 to the 3-year-old fillies.
Is it 150? Yeah, it is. Still equal. So D Rowe, is any chance that Aaron Dunn tries to light that horse up early?
Yes, it won't matter. You can't.
No. But a $150,000 race is my point. It's never not never. That's silly. It's not often as easy as you think when you're talking about the big money on the line. And for that reason, I keep coming back to a lot like Louis, who is a completely different horse as a 3-year-old to what we saw last year. A completely different horse. This horse, there's just something about 18 starts, 4 wins doesn't look great. Look at his 3-year-old record: 4 starts for 5 starts, 4 wins, and has looked so impressive in recent times. And I love that last start heat run. Another few strides and it wins that race, and it was hardly entitled to.
I'll say this. Well, here's a couple of stats, first of all. I gave you the Soho Spectre. The funny thing about Ravishing Sloy, even though he did win that big race from behind the leader, he's been in front 4 times and retained the lead and never been beaten. 3 starts, the trail, 1 win, 1 placing. So that's interesting for a start. And going back to D Rowe, he talked about $150,000, and you know how much I love Aaron Dunn. Recent birthday boy, you tell me.
Yep. Hope I got that right.
Aaron Dunn competes in every contest, every day.
Yes.
As though it's worth $400,000. I don't think Aaron Dunn's attitude to the game changes as a result of the prize money on offer. All right. What price do you think you'll get a better lot like?
Well, I already know.
Do you have one?
It was $13 into $8 on Sportsbet. I think it was into $6 last night. So that was really crunched. So I was happy to take $8 or $8.50. I can't remember, and have a play on a lot like Louis.
Well, the only thing that's concerning me here, and why I might stay out of the race, is because the 2 that have been backed are Sloy and Louis. And that is indicative to me.
Yep.
I'm no seer or soothsayer, prognosticator, or puncher 20 Phil, but that says to me there's a very big chance that Sloy's going to lead and it'll be behind leader.
Yep.
And hold the lead, Sloy.
And from there, I'm happy to.
Would anybody might just run past them all from there, though?
Yeah, possibly. Possibly.
So are you going each way, or are you going
I will go each way, but I've only backed it for the win at this early stage. I'll wait for the night and have some money on the place. There is some method in that madness. I think the place odds are always a little bit too skinny early on for some of those horses.
Codes, quickly before we go any further.
Yeah.
I reckon, I have a pen here, we fashion up a little bit of a code bond quad.
Yes, let's do that, absolutely. And
yeah.
I know we've carved into a fair bit of time so far. I'm pretty confident the back end of the program, from my point of view, is not going to be as elongated as the first part of the program.
It won't be as elongated, but I've got one big
right. Beautiful. Good.
Race 5, first leg. 1.
Well, race 5, yes. Definitely the one.
Yours. Yeah.
1. What are we going? 1, 3,
3, 5, and 8.
1, 3, 5, and 9.
9. Sorry. Yeah.
1, 3, 5, and 9. Yep. Race 6, 1, and that's where I'll leave it.
Yeah, me too. Now, race 4 was your money. I don't know how to make a money race out of this necessarily, but one thing you know, the Lost Storm leads.
Yep.
Now, he's not an amazing beginner, but it's just a beautiful front line for him, yeah? Because Cosmo goes back, Ultimate Vinny won't risk it. Yeah, and Bucky gets out pretty well, but won't cross the pole. Ideal Escape will go back from that draw. So too, probably Perfect Stride. So leads easily.
Yep.
And what we know, what I lived on for years before all of these preferential barrier draws, were these sort of races where when you've got the dominant horse in front, now you've got a couple of very nice horses drawn way out in the car park, the grandstand, in Tango Tara and Triple Eight. But life is very hard for them. So this is nearly a peg.
Yep.
But I'd go 1 to beat 8 and 9. Supreme Dominator's second up from a long break. But lives for the trail.
Yep.
Won the Crampon Cup. Been Amazing Dream, I reckon.
Yep.
From the trail. Curlew James is going to love going 3 poles.
My oath. Yep. Agreed.
So 1 to beat 8 and 9. You can nearly go 1 to beat 8 and 9, 8 and 9. But I'll go 1 to beat 8 and 9. And the 3 others, the Triumvirate, the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, Perfect Stride is flying.
Yep.
Tango Tara, Triple Eight for third.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. But I would play 189, 189, and then I'd stagger it and I'd play the other 3 in a secondary. But that's only because I do get a little more aggressive at the obvious, and it sometimes bites you. But gee, sometimes it can pay off.
That's not happened when we wrestled on the tram one time after.
It was well into the morning, that one, Jace. Well into the evening and into the morning.
I'm happy to go into a rematch at any time.
See how we go.
That's the best bet.
Maybe that's for the live show.
You're very confident. That's a better bet, bolt over free for all. So we're pretty much done and dusted with that, yeah?
That's the ones are moral, and we've just outlined trifectas.
Now, I'm hoping you can provide more content for the Alabar 2-year-old Sapling Stakes for the Colts and Geldings, because this is if there's one race all night, I can't see myself having a bet in.
Yep. It's this one.
Hesitate looks like half a freak.
Well, that is it. I black booked.
It's very green.
I black booked Hesitate when it got beat. The only run it got beat, which was behind what's it called? The Highlight Reel. Yep. It was a super run that night. Hesitate comes through the same race that 40 Love came through. I think it ran third in that race and was finishing on, but was well beaten behind Hesitate. And then you look at the others. Look, Schwartz is from the Clayton Tonkin stable. Clearly, is going to have plenty of ability.
Nose ring these days, Clayton. Somebody told me.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but nothing. It wouldn't surprise. He's always been a man of style. That's for sure. Andy and Kate have got Coastal Drive, who's run 2 starts, 2 thirds, but none of these horses, in my opinion, are in the class of Hesitate. And I think it's a moral. I just think it'll win and win well.
If I get either gamble responsibly, we don't have to say that, but we will gamble responsibly. It's the right thing to do. I do most time. If I get desperate or I'm just, I don't get bored too often. I don't have a great case of ennui too often. But Schwartz, I might have a tiny bet on because there's upside.
Yeah.
right? It sort of it got pinged, fought on. We'll learn a little bit more from the experience last start. If Hesitate over 17-20, out of position at the start, 5 poles early, rolling around them, drifting off like Lenny the Shark times 3.
Yep.
And it's $1.60 and Schwartz is $5-6 bucks. I'd have to be in. I'd have to be in a state where I'm either well up or well down, I would imagine. But
but I'll tell you this: I don't often declare them bond, but I'm feeling it about Hesitate. I just think it's I think it's got lots of class on this. No, not at all. For me, it's all in on the 6. But with what you've just said, with our combined quaddie, we've got to play numbers 1 and 6.
Now, race 8. I know you said these are the quote unquote non-metropolitan races on the Metropolitan card.
Yep.
Which I never like, but we just can't. These will be some of the issues we will discuss in.
We will.
In more serious, sober podcasts.
Deep dives, Jace. Yeah. Deep dives. Yeah. Off the diving board.
I don't like these races on Metro cards, but
right.
I certainly didn't like the 1200 metre races. Good Lord above. Sweet baby Jay.
Well, you'll have Twitter absolutely just loving that. So throw that out there later, Jace. I found it something. Yeah, anyway. I found one of big odds here anyway, quickly. Okay, and you know what? I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got to say about the next race, because I didn't have a firm opinion other than to say I thought Hey You Good Thing would be right in the mix, but I don't have a firm opinion. What do you got?
Very quick speech, Bond rant. Are we ready?
And we'll go roll it on. Let's go.
Yeah, the quality numbers for the previous in a moment. As soon as I looked at the field, I circled a horse that I used to think and have thought has always
this will be fun. Yep.
Its fair share of ability. And I would have thought, knowing the way you've always done your form and black booked and all the rest of it, that once upon a rainbow, like the leprechaun you are, you would have found this horse at some point. Full of Mischief has always had ability. It was first up for a long time. Now, this is heat into final. If you're a punter that doesn't like doing a lot of deep dive form, you've only got to watch 3 races here, same as the last, as the qualifiers. Full of Mischief was held up, pegs, held up, flashed home. Will be better for the run. Big Watt doesn't have a big team, but a good underrated trainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? In both of these races, here's a thought. Aaron Dunn's not in them. So $15,000 doesn't sound like a lot of money. I wouldn't mind it myself, neither would you. But it doesn't sound like a huge amount of money. But these horses don't race for 15 large too often.
No.
So I reckon
I'm watching the replay now. And you are all over it, Jace. Pardon my croaky throat. Look at that just watch from the 400 onwards. That is screaming out, get on next time. And that's first up from a spell.
But this is, you remember science class in high school?
When I was there, yep.
You had a null hypothesis.
Yep.
And then you had to prove or disprove it.
And
even going into the race, my null hypothesis was, I reckon, Full of Mischief. It was $51 in the heat. And I thought, I reckon it can go close. And you know what? It was confirmed, that null hypothesis, when I watched the replay.
Big run.
Tell you what, going back to the theory here as well, when horses don't race and participants don't race for $15,000, drivers, that often with these horses, I think they'll go like Cat Ronald. Is that the name of the cat? You've got Ronald?
Ronald, yeah, and Little Puss is 18. Ronald's 1.
We'll go more like Cut Ronalds than Little Puss. Probably hasn't got that touch of speed.
No, doesn't have the speed anymore. He's an old timer.
It's good innings.
It is a good innings. I'm trying to think
I think they'll go like cut felines anyway, and they'll be racing for sheep stations, as they say. And I think that's only going to help. Full of Mischief.
Love it. $21 you can get on .org.au, Jace, so you might even get more than that.
Well, I reckon, you know what? I'd be happy. I wouldn't be happy knowing that $21 is on org. Would I be happy? No, I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be happy. I'd be happy enough with $10. That's how keen I am.
Yeah, well, you've sold me. I'm looking at it and I want to be on one horse. Now I want to be on that horse, Full of Mischief. at the price.
Once again, when you're talking about these races,
yep,
you'll know your fate after 400 metres, 500 metres. Yep. But I can just see no sweets for you. We'll have a crack at the start. Interpretation flies out. Yappa will try and lead. Key stat there with Yappa, who's also $21 on what we now we'll call it Org. I like that.
Orgo, you bet. Yep.
Yappa has been in front in its career, I think, 5 times for 4 wins and a placing.
Yep. I'm Wesley goes all right.
Yeah.
Angus Indiana's in form.
They all go all right, don't they? I mean, Angus Indiana does look the obvious one for me.
Yep.
But I'm thinking Sports Stars in it. But this is one of my
this is a get on moment for that other show in the other. This is a
this get is definitely on my roughie of the night.
I love it. It's a good call. Good call, Bon.
And I'm less confident about this one, but it's another one. Null hypothesis. I circled it. There's another one I've got at big odds in the last.
Well, before we do that, how are we playing the quaddie then? Because we get value if 13 wins, so can we afford to chuck in a few here, or are we just going to get super aggressive?
Can we just have 1 and 6 in the third leg, by the way?
Just 1 and 6.
And final leg, who else do you want to throw in?
Okay, well, I reckon
I want Angus Indiana and Full of Mischief.
Well, I want Hey Go, You Good Thing, and Herbie barrier 8. So I want the 8.
5, 8, 10, 13. 5, 8, 11, 13.
So you want Yappa?
Yeah.
Hey Go, You Good Thing. 5, 8, and then 11 Angus Indiana, and 13 Full of Mischief. You're not putting in no sweets for you.
No.
All right.
You want the Sports Star?
Hey.
You want the Sports Star? You mentioned I'm Wesley. No.
No, don't want it.
So the beauty of this, so we've gone at the moment 1, 3, 5, 9 into 1 and 6 into 5, 8, 11, 13. Yep. That's $32, right?
Yep.
The beauty is that last leg's the hardest.
Yep.
Let's just get through.
Yeah, you can play it any way you like, and we'll be on Twitter, and I'm sure you'll do the maths and tell people how to play it if we've got that far, Jace.
No doubt about it.
All right, beautiful. That's race 8. Race 9, the 2 Construct Trotters final.
I can't construct anything, so I'm not going to do it twice. Right. Countess Sharon.
Yes. Ray Cross, Liam Older.
1 by 5.
I'll
tell you what.
Did it run today? Yeah, it won, did it? No. What date is it? Yeah, it ran today and it won at $21. Oh, shit, Jace. You didn't want to hear that, did you? It's actually not showing up on the form guide, but if you click on put your things on, you can't hear me. I was just saying it's not even showing up on the form guide, but if you click on the horse, you can see 23 Maryborough, and it's won. It's used the sprint lane today and overhauled picket wire and dichotomy.
Anyway, that'll finish us off. A little bit of warning next time you can do that, by the way. Maybe just don't say it. Just say it ran today.
Say it. It's $34.
You see it, and maybe later after the podcast.
Is it going to? Can it run still in this race? How does that work? Or is it out? Or it's the final, so I guess it's qualified.
Yeah.
Well, what happens here? Does it get drawn out the back, or
see what happens now?
Yep.
Shortens, coach.
Well, that's
shortens significantly.
Unless it has to get drawn out the back somehow, in which case it might. I know it won't. Yeah.
I'm sure it galloped away. It's now over here, and it beat Joy. Anyway, we're not going to get the price now. If we were getting the price previously. Anyway, I didn't back it today. Unless it is massive odds.
It was the rank outside of $34.
No.
No, not today. I mean for Saturday night.
If it's not big odds, I won't be playing in the race.
Yep.
There's too many hopes. McGee went great in the heat.
Yep. Michael Watt, you gave a big bump up to before. Yep. Vici Bloom.
Aldebaran Tanisha's got ability. Izara might lead. Mojito Madness.
I like Mojito Madness, but every time I back it, it makes a mistake.
Is that the one? Is Mojito the one with tequila in it?
That's the one with mint in it, I reckon. Mojitos.
Right. I don't want to talk about that race anymore.
Right. Scratch that. But the thing is, right, and it's proof because everyone just saw your reaction. So you found one, and if you had a looked at the fields today, you might have backed it.
Sweet. Well, no, that actually makes me feel so much better. That's sure.
You got to get on every day, Jace. You got to have a look every day.
We'll do a podcast every day now. Who knows? Now, before we wind up, couple of housekeeping issues.
Housekeeping. Yep.
One, we don't know how many pods there'll be a week, but hopefully a couple. One form podcast and either one live or one where we're doing our roundtables and got a guest and we're discussing the big issues.
We do want to have some. We do want to have some guests in, even potentially on the form one to talk through it with us, Jace. So it's a blank canvas. There's no rules, as you said.
And you've just revealed to me. I mean, I had no idea about the website.
Yeah, so it's
of course
pacesetters.au, and that's where you're going to find
not pacesetters.com.au.
No, just pacesetters.au, and that's where you're going to find articles. You're going to find the podcast house there, but the all-important selections and musings of Jace and me, hopefully throwing in a roughie every now and then with my form.
And analysis. We're going to do the form in a more casual punter-centric way.
Well, everyone saw those little vignettes, as you called it, the vignette from last week. Speed maps are back, baby. Speed maps are back, as they say. Critical? They're critical. They're absolutely critical. If you want to play trifectas, you'd be silly to play a trifecta without a speed map. And they're back. So that's a big part of it. Speed, and on those speed maps, Jace, you've got your confidence rating, which is a little initiative there out of 100%. And you've also got the early speed tempo, the tempo rating, which is actually been deliberately designed, Jace, so you can write whatever you want. You can write fast, slow. You could write something that, come up with a word that most don't even know that means really.
I've never done that before.
Electric. A shout out to some of those folks on the Harness Racing forum.
People say though that maps are so hard to do. Right. Who do you think will lead in race one?
We talked about that, didn't we? What's up, party time? If she's a wish,
probably. Yeah.
Well, yeah, most likely.
We've got a different opinion in race 2. Race
we do.
3 maybe as well. Race 4, Libby Lou leads.
Race 3, Skinny Dip will be in front early, and then it's whether Captain Ahmed just runs to the top. Yeah.
Libby Lou, race 4.
Lou. Yep.
Race 5, either Sloy or Spectre.
Yeah, and we're probably leading to Sloy, aren't we? Yeah.
Well, the market is
because of the market. Yeah.
Lost Storm definitely race 6.
Yep.
I think Schwartz will hold up in race 7 probably.
Probably, yep.
Race 8 stuff, Interpretation or Yappa, and race 9 is either McGee or Izara. But so that is a critical aspect as well. Basically, because I'm going to talk in as much as I can do, which is not easy for me, plain language.
Yep.
You've got the visual interpretation of a map. But I'll just go through. There's normally only 2 to 3 scenarios. So I'll be talking about that, just going, well, here's scenario 1, here's the likelihood of that, here's 2. And quite often, right, you look at race 5, the Sloy Spectre scenario, you can find the right way to bet in a race purely by analysing the percentage chance of the 2 different scenarios. So if it's 50-50, then you can price up a lot like Louis and say, well, there's a 1 in 2 chance it's going to be behind the leader, but I think it is. What price? I know this isn't easy. What price would you have a lot like Louis from behind the leader?
From behind Ravishing Sloy. Yeah. $3.50, $4.
And 3 poles?
$8.50.
What price are you getting right now?
About $8.50, which I think's a good price.
Well, if you combine those two and you say it's a 50-50 scenario,
and this is the point, isn't it?
You're looking at more like $5.
I'm favouring the horse a little too, yeah. So that's actually short. So in my mind, the $8.50 from 3 poles in my little market, I've shortened it even more. You know what I mean? And that's to your point, though. But to your point, that's what it's all about. If you could, I ran the stats once, on Melton, horses behind the leader, and I can't remember what it was, but it is ridiculous how often they run at least a place. It's just,
but
if you get the map.
They don't win as often as there's a lot of people think.
No, that's true. And this is the old hand up, give up to some degree, isn't it? But you know that if you're behind the leader, you're most likely, and this is to your point with your staggered tries, you'll have one to win and you'll have, the second horse behind the leader either run second or third. And then, but it's the banker.
There you go. So 50-50. Those two prices you've given, $5. Your bias brings it into $4.20.
Yep.
Then it's up to you. You might think Ravishing Slow, because of the market move, is a 70% chance. Now you're looking at a lot like Louis as a 350 chance.
Exactly,
so 380 chance. So that's where look, I will give you my opinion, and we really want this to be very interactive. We want people not just with the big issues. That's where we're going to get the most feedback, obviously. But even with this, come back and even ask us how you'd like us to present the form.
Yep, absolutely. Give us the feedback. And what we might do, Jace, this has been an idea we've had for a little while, without giving too much away. We may end up coming up with a little system where the fans can put in their own tips, right? And we can get the data live straight up on the website to show, based on the fans, which horses are actually, and you could even turn that into a number, whether it's a percentage or even then turn that percentage into a market. Now, not putting too much pressure on our whiz behind the scenes, but he can make things happen in the website space. So you just never know.
But that will come down to what guests you want us to try and get on from week to week. That will come down to what subjects you want to talk. Now, some harness racing subjects that are very popular do bore me a little bit. I like to take a deeper dive, but let us know what you want to talk about. We'll discuss them. You might agree, you might disagree. We might agree or disagree. But as you say, the main thing is different times the sport talks itself up more than it should. More often than not, it talks itself down more than it should.
Way too often.
We're not going to talk it up or down. We're just going
to talk. It's a brilliant. Yeah, but there's the reason we're talking about it and riffing with Japon on the air guitar, chunky air guitar, the Whitlams, as he goes off there. We love it. And that means, we're talking it up anyway. Just by talking about it, we're talking it up, Jace. So,
all right,
the game, I mean. Quickly, best bets.
Yeah, that's it. So, best bet, Captain Hammerhead for me. But the two right at this very moment, and it's a woman's and a bond's right, a prerogative to change their mind. And a couple of things like market moves and burning questions or whatever might alter my thoughts. But even though you pilloried me, and I still don't think I won you over, Operative Line.
You've won me over a bit. Yeah, yep.
And Full of Mischief at a big price.
Love the Full of Mischief one. Love the Full of Mischief one. You've won me over enough to just take Is This Just Fantasy off my moral list. And I'm still backing myself in, tipping it on top. But my best, Jace, a lot like Louis, 1x4. Love a 1x4 bet. And I reckon Hesitate's a moral. And, you might get black and white figures about Hesitate potentially. It might, just because of all the shenanigans you were talking about. It might drift a bit, but I still think it'll win. So I want to play Hesitate. And over in Globe Derby, just quickly, Globe Derby, a black booker just popped up called Zebek or Zebek.
Oh, yeah.
The trotter.
Used to be with Andy Galeno, didn't
it? Ben or Braun, I think. It's popped up. It's for the Holbertons, I think. Now it's had a couple of trials, and I was hoping. I wonder what price it. I think it's $3 on org bet. We'll just have to see what it comes up. But I'm keen to see how Globe Derby race 4, number 7, Zebek goes. Is that how you say it, Zebek?
I think it's Zebek. Formidable. Je m'appelle Jason. Je suis pas mal Zebek.
Goodness.
It's been so much fun.
It has.
One more. Thursday at Maryborough. I'm keen on Count Escherron.
Yes, and you saw the reaction live. He's not lying, despite obviously knowing it. I'm sorry to break your heart with that one, Jace, but that's just...
It's been broken before.
That's paying you back for really pouring water on my Is This Just Fantasy. I know you're not saying Is This Just Fantasy couldn't just win, but geez, you're... I don't know. I just looked at that race and thought, it just wins.
I can't make it win or not. Time to say sayonara.
Yes.
We've had a very good opening session. Very quickly, before I let you go, I'm in my blaze. I've actually got my ID 21.
I saw that. I did notice that underneath. Yep.
We know you're a big Oasis fan, and you gave a great impromptu performance at one point. I played a gig recently myself.
Thank you. On the rooftop there in the city,
yes.
It was good.
What is your final question? What is your number one Oasis song of all time?
Yeah, of all time, it's got to be "Live Forever." Just an absolute banger.
I don't know it. I'll check that out straight after the pod.
Make sure you do. What's your favourite?
Oasis.
Yeah.
Champagne Supernova, probably.
Yeah, nice. Okay, I thought you were going to go with Wonderwall, but yeah, Champagne Supernova. Good.
You thought I was going to go with
Not
you thought I was going to go with Wonderwall.
Well, I did, but if you don't know "Live Forever," I don't think you know as much Oasis as I thought you may have known, Jace.
That's sweet. Great start, mate. Great
Good
to catch
start.
up with you.
Absolutely, you too. Good to see you. It's good to be back on the airwaves.
I'll be with my beautiful daughter Bella on Saturday night, but I'll be getting her to tweet, and we'll keep in touch with the results.
We will.
I'm not going to have. She's not had the same childhood as me, where there was money in the phone account at her age, just turned 10. But we will watch the races together, and we'll keep the discussion going.
We will
pump this up, aren't we?
And this is only the start, so let's see what happens. It'll be an interesting ride, Jace. It'll be fun.
Au revoir, brother. I'm off to find Live Forever.
Good stuff. Enjoy. Catch you all next time.
See you, brothers.